free, and enjoy more of what the world has to offer in this action one, because this is where most human beings screw the pooch.
So a little one-person trampoline, very
I screen shared it. Like, there's no excuse. Like, phone numbers are just out there. You just got to pick up the phone, smile, and dial. So. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk to Taryn Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to help make you the absolute best entrepreneur you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people you love and care about most. As you see by our interesting title for today, we're talking about feathers and sledgehammers. Feathers and sledgehammers. This is based off of a concept of a book. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in with us this morning. This is based off of a concept of a book that I absolutely cherish and love. I've read it multiple times. It's a great one. It's by Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. Good morning, everyone. I hope we're starting our day off right. So we're going to start it off with the concept of handling pain and how this is going to be part of our lives absolutely no matter what. There is no way to get around this. If the Buddha could explain, so one of the main premises that we learn in Buddhism, if you're a fan of it or not, the concept seems pretty universal. And I like the idea that life is suffering. No matter what you do, even in America, in the most lavish country in the world, where things are abundant, things are continuing to change for the better. Is history still screwed up? I would agree so. I think the progress here is better than anywhere else in the world. I haven't traveled, I suppose, too much, so it's hard to speak on that. But regardless, loving how things are continuing to get better and better with time. I can't remember how Dr. Phil put it. It was like a disgusting optimist or something. Like, I don't know. Either way, I'm with Dr. Phil. I'm a huge optimist. I think things are only getting better. I think people are very smart and culturally learning to adapt and work together in better ways. So starting off on that positive note this morning, being an optimist is cool. But today we're talking about pain and how pain, there's a couple ways to handle it. So pain, if you see the title behind me, good morning. Thanks for tuning in with us this morning. You see, there's feathers and sledgehammers in this concept of, let me go ahead, maybe it'll make more sense as I pull up my window tab and zoom in on some show notes that I got. Let's go ahead and make this bigger. Let's go ahead and make this zoom in. Good morning, everyone. I hope you can all see. Okay. We're talking about show notes. We're talking about feathers and sledgehammers. Let's get my ugly mug off the screen so we can see a little bit better. Okay, so in The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle uses the concept of feathers and sledgehammers to describe how the universe communicates with us. So this can sound a little far out there. The main point of it is our bodies, our energy, our feelings, and our emotions communicate with us. They tell us how we're feeling. They tell us how we're doing. You can feel these things throughout the day. You feel certain urges. You want to do something. You feel a certain way about it, whether this is excited, whether this is sad. We have emotions coming through us, and then we have different pain points throughout the body that's communicating with us. And feathers represent subtle hints and intuitive nudges that gently guide us toward our path or purpose. So I want you to think for just a second. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in with us this morning. I want you to think for just a second when you do something that you know that isn't in alignment with your values. When you do something that you know isn't in alignment with your values. Maybe it'd be helpful if I pulled up my value sheet here real quick. Okay. So I have on my values, I have values like, what are some values? Let's go ahead and just type them out. This will be easier. So I have some values, and they include things like health and adventure. So when I do things that are not healthy, when I eat super unhealthy foods, I feel like crap. Okay, so you have a value of love, and you understand when I am mean to somebody or someone's mean to me or things aren't working out the way I wanted to or I thought it was, and I start to feel pain about that situation because I value that, the feather is the subtle hint or touch in the pain body that kind of reminds us like, oh, okay, these are like, this doesn't feel good. That sucks, or I have this type of pain or this type of emotion, whatever the situation may be. Feathers are the subtle pains that we feel throughout the day. So again, we're trying to remember that when things aren't going right, say a conversation goes bad with somebody, someone says something mean to you, or something isn't working, and you're feeling some type of pain, this is a feather touching you because life is pain. Everyone has to experience pain. There's absolutely no way around this. Or I'm learning that, and to my understanding, that's like, there's no way to completely get out of pain. And we wouldn't even want that. Pain has a lot of pros too. But either way, feathers kind of give us nudges that gently guide us toward our path or purpose. So when things aren't in alignment with things like our values, or they're not in alignment with, again, that magical word purpose, then we understand that this is probably not the right thing to be doing. This happens a lot. So you get off of work and you've had a long day and you say, I need a beer. I need a cigarette. I need to play video games. I need this. What is usually happening is that people are feeling the feathers all day long. They're feeling pieces of pain, and they're trying to find something that allow them to escape from the pain. We all do this. I do this every day. Whether it's particularly with food is kind of my vice right now. It's easy to kind of just like, okay, that didn't go that right. I'm pretty tired. I don't really want to think about anything. I'm going to eat something absolutely delicious right now. So you can see how we turn to substances, consumables, all of the indulgences that this great country has to offer when we feel pain. And then when we push, so when you do like food or beer or cigarettes or something like that, when you push the pain away with these types of replacements, instead of like feeling the pain through meditation or breathing or walking in nature, instead of feeling the pain and being with the pain when it comes up, because, okay, it's kind of tough because I don't even meditate 24/7 or anything like that, but we do have to meditate just like a little bit each day. And a lot of people hear that and they're like, I don't want to do that. So you can either do that, you can do this daily and have it remain as feathers. So when you have a good control over your pain, when you're able to check in on this constantly, because it's like maintenance. Like, you don't just work out for a month straight and then you're jacked for the rest of your life. That's just not how the body works. We have to continually check in and maintain. We get the gift of life, but we have to maintain our physical body, like just like you would have to maintain a car and that kind of things to keep it working in all of its proper functions over the long haul. So you can choose to do this. You can feeling the pain, do meditation or breathing, walking. You can do this crap daily, or you can feel the sledgehammers. So sledgehammers are when, on the other hand, are intense wake-up calls. You can't take it anymore. You can't take the pain anymore, such as a serious illness. Sometimes our bodies will have so much built up bullshit going on in our bodies and our minds and our souls that it hits us like a freight train when we get sick, or an accident. We cause an accident or a major crisis in general. Let me undo that. Or just a major crisis in general in our lives. Like, all of this built up stuff boils up and then blows up. It's never usually one event that causes massive amounts of pain. They're like, this caused me pain. It's like, this relationship ending caused me massive amount of pain. And I'm not saying that there's not a time to be sad. Being sad it has its functions, and it is necessary, and it is okay to be sad. But when people dwell, or they get depressed, or it really hammers us hard, or we just have something that we could call a major crisis that force us to confront our lives and make significant changes. So Tolle suggests in the book, if we pay attention to the feathers, we can avoid the need for sledgehammers and live a more fulfilling life. So what something sucks, and I wanted to just address today before we kind of go off and we try to have a good day and all that good kind of stuff. Let me go ahead and get off of this screen so you guys can see me. Before we go on to the day, if we can understand just a little bit that we're going to be having pains coming up, and that if we can just kind of pause for a moment and address what the heck is actually going on with us. Is it because we're not acting in alignment with what we truly care about? Our bodies and our minds and our spirits usually just send signals and are like, this is not right. And then this can cause us a lot of pain when we get out of alignment. As you can see, when we get out of alignment with things like our values, you can see how this can start to cause us pain. But then if we ignore and we shove that stuff down with alcohol, nicotine, marijuana, whatever your vice is, maybe it's food. When we shove this stuff out of the way, or we just ignore it and we blaze by it in general, and we're like, yeah, forget it, I'm not dealing with it. Or you just say, that's how it is. That's how my life is. That's how I am. This is how this goes. When it's kind of just like accepting defeat and believing that you have no control over this, your viewpoints, your beliefs, your values. When you submit, because these are truly the only things we can control. You can't go out and you can't control other people, can't control their values and their beliefs. The whole, like, you can pick your friend's nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose, that concept. Like, you can't go out there and control it. But the thing that we can control is how we frame things, how we feel things, how we interpret things. And pain is going to be constant all the time. You're going to feel it in your work. You're going to feel it in your home life. You're going to feel it when you're going to work out. You're going to be feeling it when you're trying to make more relationships, when you're trying to strive towards your goal. It's like, what the hell is my purpose? What's the point of all this? I have so much pain. I'm dealing with this. I came up with this. Because such a big chunk of our lives, we just aren't aware of this. So we just let it build up. And it's like, oh, why do so many 50-year-olds have heart attacks? Well, neglecting health as a value for all human beings and letting that build up over time. Or how many people do you know when they have the midlife crisis? I'm a big believer that this is a huge factor in this, and not being able to address and feel and confront the subtle feathers that come into our lives, and being able to handle this causes literal nervous breakdowns later in life. It's like, I just can't even handle it. It's like that pot's been simmering and boiling for years. And that's when the explosion tends to come. That steam builds up to the point that it just blows up. So being very careful of that, I wanted to get on this morning and talk about this a little bit, just because this is something that I struggle with, is jealousy for other coaches, for other people who are just like farther ahead of me in business. They have these nice systems down. They make this money. They're kind of doing this with their lives. And I'm not going to lie, I can get pretty jealous. And then it feels like a pain in my body, because I want to support and connect with people, but I'm feeling jealous. So dealing with that, meditating, walking out in nature and doing these things and being with this daily, addressing it as we go. I'd much rather deal with the feathers than just push it off, indulge in things like alcohol to suppress it, and then bam, get hit with a sledgehammer 2 years from now when I'm like, my company's blown up, I'm quitting. I believe this is why people can quit. I believe this is why people can have these nervous breakdowns or just these major crises. We all know those people who have everything's just a major crisis. And so if we can address these things now, if we can address these things as we're reaching towards our goals and not just waiting until we get to some end point, I believe that's something that I can only speak from personal experience, but I see this really far goal into the future and I want it so bad. So I'm willing to neglect who I am now, myself, how I feel, my emotions, and all this. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because all that matters is that. And then I'm living in pain. And then I get there and I realize, oh, the whole point of this is just to enjoy the moment anyway. So I kind of suffered that whole time for nothing. So it can be a wake up call, it can be a real slap to the face. That's why we call them, imagine that's why he calls them sledgehammers, to the point to where these major crises are really intense wake up calls. So maybe we try to avoid that. If hopefully just one person or anyone you think who could benefit from this concept, please share it with them, try to understand it, or just maybe the challenge for today. Today's challenge then would be to just take a moment, and when you feel like you need something or you feel uncomfortable with something, you pause, you stop, and you feel. You're like, okay, where is this at my body? What's really going on? Does this really matter? Am I making this a bigger deal than it needs to be? By being able to handle and diffuse and to solve, I like to view these, visualize like when you have something bad going on, when someone says, for me, it's usually like I get rejected with a team. So I gave a presentation in front of a team. I'm trying to land a coaching company as a team, like team bundle of clients. And I've gotten rejected a couple times over the last couple weeks, and it hurts. And it makes me feel like crap. I don't like rejection. I don't really know anyone who does, but I need to just take a moment to just breathe and like this is part of it. They didn't need my service right now, but there's millions of other people who can actually truly benefit from working with me, doing our 6-week course, doing these types of things. So it helps encourage me and makes me feel better about continuing to move forward. But just like burying that shit can be really dangerous and cause us to boil and blow up in the future. So good old feathers and sledgehammers, dealing with the pain today and not feeling like we absolutely need anything, such as like maybe it's a soda or a type of food or cigarettes or anything. If you feel like you need something, then that's probably a wake-up call to thinking, readdressing and reassessing, like, what is it? Why do I need this? What is really going on? And kind of just digging in a little deeper from there. So feathers and sledgehammers, hope this stuff was helpful. And the nudge, I know the topic and the verbiage of it can be pretty confusing, but if you take the time, I highly suggest reading this book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. He explains in a lot more depth of the concept. And just when pains come in or we're not acting in alignment with our purpose, then when we're not acting in alignment with our purpose, we're going to feel pain that's going to try and nudge us towards. So we're aiming for our purpose. We're trying to handle the pain as it comes in. We're not trying to let it bottle up and become a sledgehammer of pain. That's all I have today. If you guys know of someone who would need a life coach, someone who's trying to work with a life coach, they're trying to be supported professionally and personally, we offer 2 services here, just 2 to keep it straightforward. I'm trying to simplify the lives of entrepreneurs so they can bring their best work to the world. 6-week boot camp, 6-week life mastery class called the One-Page Life Plan, and then additionally one-on-one coaching for long-term contracts. So that's what we offer here. If you know anyone who could benefit from our content, make sure to check us out live. And we'll be back with another episode 234. 234 tomorrow. Make sure to enjoy today because it's Wednesday, March 15th. And once the sun goes down, poof, March 15th is gone for good. So make sure that we're trying to enjoy as much as possible. Enjoy the journey of your own entrepreneurship, of your own progress at work, the people you're trying to support. Do something nice for somebody today. I hope you guys all have an incredible, fun-filled hump day. Enjoy it. Smiles all around. Let's have a good day. Cheers, friends. And I'll catch you on the next episode. Until next time. Peace out.